Okay, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Yesterday, AMD had mixed results, but reacted negatively to it. We also have Nvidia earnings, Supermicro earnings. Most microchips are down today just because of the misses in microchips. Yesterday, we had a lot of misses there. Gold is still over 3,400s and elevated, but down on the day as we speak. What's up, Ray, Ryan, Glass, Ava? Have some headphones. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a little late. Sorry. I got to take my trash out this morning, so that's what I had to do. Big question is, where is United Health right now? Oof, dude, it was up even more, honestly. I just took a piece off of UNH just because I can. I might take a piece off of Amazon too, just because I can. Just good swing trades that we actually made money on. But I'm probably just going to let these work a little bit longer here. We're up really nicely in both of these. All right, we just took some off of Amazon too. Again, just because we can. Yeah, again, the big stories of the day. AMD miss. NASDAQ is down. You can kind of see it's down. It's at that 167 level that we're certainly paying attention to. Again, AMD disappointed on AI revenue, went down 6% despite a top line beat. Supermicro is down almost 20% after missing revenue and issuing weak guidance. Arista and Atera Labs both up over 10% though. We also had Snapchat down 20% on a Q2 loss. Rivian is down 6% on guidance being revised. And Disney's up 3% ahead of its report. Did Disney come out this morning? I know it's supposed to drop this morning. Let me see. Yeah, Disney's out. Disney beat 161 EPS versus 146 expected. Missed revenue though. So Disney actually had mixed results here. Again, it missed revenue. Beat EPS. It's still gapping down though. It's at 116s versus 120. 122 expected here. Other notable names that we had release earnings this morning were Shopify. Here, I'm going to expand this and pull this back a little bit. We had Shopify. Shopify beat, and it is rising up significantly here. It's at 145s right now. Shopify came in at 34-cent profit versus 29 cents expected. Revenue of 2.68 billion versus 2.54 billion expected. We also had Uber earnings show up this morning. If we take a look at Uber here, Uber posted BDPS beat revenue, but it's still gapping down on guidance and other numbers. McDonald's posted numbers. They came in at a better than expected EPS of 319 versus 315 expected. Revenue of 6.84 versus 6.71. And a few more, but nothing else big. We had Novo. Novo at $46 a share, roughly 46.40. It showed up at a 97-cent EPS versus 93 cents expected. Missed revenue though at 11.69 versus 11.79 expected. So missed EPS, or BDPS beat revenue for a lot of these. Is it just me? It's supposed to be my AirPods, bro. Huh? Weird. Let me know if you can hear an echo. We should be pretty solid for it though. Yeah, so again, Snap, Rivian. So the president leading into Thursday, which is one of the deadlines, has been continuing his tariff threats. He recently, they have upcoming duties targeted at pharma stocks and semiconductors ahead of the August 7th North American tariff deadline. They have a trilateral deal with Switzerland now in jeopardy, and global markets are cautious as well. We have MSCI Asia Pacific fell 0.2%. Japan's Nikkei rose modestly today, and analysts are flagging rising U.S. tariffs. Nasdaq's actually a little green on the day. We still have rate cut optimism. If we take a look at yields this morning, here's yields. Yields currently at 4.237%. So we've actually rebounded a little bit from where we were, I think. Here's a 5-day chart. We load. Load? When yields. 5-day chart. Okay, yeah, so this is where we are. So we actually rebounded a little bit this morning in interest rate sentiment. So a little bit higher interest rate sentiment. You can see we opened up really at like 4.2 even. We're now at 4.24s almost for yield. So yields are spiking, showing a higher interest rate sentiment, and bonds are kind of getting sold a little bit this morning. Again, we have mixed tech earnings, but a lot of the big tech stocks that I'm seeing are down. And this includes AMD, Snapchat, Supermicro Semiconductors. Those are the big ones. All of those are down almost, but the Nasdaq's actually technically green. It's not down that much. Yeah, like we retraced a little bit from AMD and all the other earnings yesterday, and the microchip fears, which is what this is sparking, but it's not the worst. Tesla at 308. Yeah, so we also have mortgage data that showed up early this morning. NBA mortgage data dropped at 7 a.m. It showed up at 6.77%, a little bit lower than expected. 30-year mortgage rate, 6.77%. It's fixed 30-year mortgage lending rates for 80% loan-to-value mortgage sourced by the NBA. It's at 6.77% right now, 6.77%. NBA mortgage applications are up 3.1%. Last time they declined 3.8%. So it's a weekly report. Let me drink some coffee. But yeah, Amazon's still elevated. United Health still elevated too. Gold rebounding back up. Check some other news. Yeah, so the Brazil Finance Minister Haddad says he has calls scheduled with U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent next week. The bonds are up. If we take a look at the rate cut odds for September today, we are now sitting slightly under 90% at 87.5% versus 12.6% for a pause. What was the NBA mortgage rates last? It was 6.83%. We're looking at that as well. Yeah, there's no echo. Good. Timer for what? Average interest rate for 30-year mortgage 6.68 to 6.74%. Yeah, it was 6.84 last time, Ryan. Yeah, so new tariffs on semiconductors are likely coming. Here's the full picture of it. So like Section 232 investigation is underway. In April, the Department of Commerce launched a 232 national security probe into imports of semiconductors and manufacturing equipment. It typically precedes tariffs on goods deemed vital to national security. The president also announced that a new tariff plan specifically targeting semiconductors and chip imports will be unveiled within the next week or so, in his quotes. Some countries are exempt though, so Malaysia are exempt from the broad semiconductor tariffs despite levies on other goods. Taiwan, while a provisional 20% tariff is proposed, semiconductors may face separate or more strict treatment depending on how they negotiate with the US. The semiconductor threat's part of a larger push that includes up to 250% tariffs on pharmaceuticals, expanded tariffs on India, Europe, and China, and copper and strategic goods under Section 232. It's also coinciding with trade negotiations with China, which is kind of one of the big question marks left in the room regarding tariffs is, will we get a deal with China done? There's been a lot of talk about it. We've pushed it back a lot, and we still haven't really got anything concrete. So, yeah, that's essentially where we're at. We'll see if we get a deal done. All right, so again, we rode United Health up really well. Is there anything else that looks cheap? Yeah, our average price on Amazon's 212s. It's at 215s. Our average price on UNH is 240s. It's at 250. Pretty nice percentage gain in just a day for both of these. There's also been some deals done. I think Disney is going to be buying NFL Red Zone. There's a couple of these. NFL is going to take a 10% stake in Disney's ESPN as part of a big sweeping deal. I'm pretty sure they're going to buy NFL Red Zone, and what was the other one? It was like NFL something. Again, Supermicro's ability to hit 40 million or 40 billion revenue target for the fiscal year that just began. Analysts are now having doubts in it. Supermicro is one of the most beat up stocks over the extended hour session. It dropped from 57 down to 47, so a big percentage drop. Nvidia is starting to rebound. We are starting to see some rebounds in microchips. I think that's one of the reasons the NASDAQ is starting to pop a little bit higher here. Look at Nvidia come back up. It's about to hit 177, and then look at this. I'm watching 23.2s. I think 23.2s is interesting. All right, so we just actually cut it. We got into a trade right here at 23.2s on our other account. Y'all couldn't see it. Sorry, I forgot to put it up. Yeah. All right, so HG is considering the sale of 1.9 billion in financial data firm FE Fund Info, according to Reuters. Nothing else though. We had some earnings. Again, microchips are down. Beach bum. ESPN's going to be taking over coverage of WWE. Yeah, I mean, people always hate on Disney, and I get it, right? But I think Disney is resilient to the hate. They've got such a big following. Like, I remember when Disney was at 80 or 90 bucks, I would buy Disney at 80 or 90, which is kind of my level that I always buy it. And people would always just make fun of that buy, you know? Again, just to clarify, the last time it was right here. And you see, I even have like a line at this level. If you could see it, I gotta push it up a little bit. But you can see I even draw a line at this level here. 80 at that $80 level, just because that's where I usually buy Disney if it pulls back to that point. And every single time I do it, people make fun of me. They you know, in my logic, if you guys remember the logic that I used, right? The logic I used was that they're gonna have more Star Wars content coming out. And since I've said that, they actually have. They had Solo, or no, they had Solo a long time ago, but they had the Obi-Wan series. They had a bunch of new series come out that actually did really well. Some of them didn't, but most of them did. They also had movies come out too, and they've looked a lot better. And so, yeah, every time I buy Disney, you know, usually Disney makes a very predictable pattern. It goes from $80 up to 120. And that is the pattern that I capitalize on for Disney. I'm not going to say it always does, because nothing is 100% in markets. Nothing's absolute. There's always variance. But in general, that's been a very profitable trading plan for me over the years. I've made a ton of money doing this. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, if you think anything's down too much today, let me know. I might buy AMD if we get a good pullback. I just want a low PE ratio is what I want. I might even day trade some of these too if I can find some good action. Look at that 23.2 level. So we shorted it in our other account. We made money. Andor, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Star Wars is at all, bro. I've seen a lot of Star Wars content. There's a lot of like content creators about Star Wars out there. And I like Star Wars, and I like some of the new movies, and I dislike some of the new movies, to be honest, and some of the new shows. Some of them are good, some of them are. I really liked Rogue One. I liked The Force Awakens. I did not like The Last Jedi. I did not like The Rise of Skywalker. I was kind of neutral in The Rise of Skywalker. I liked the Obi-Wan series, although I haven't finished it. I liked haven't seen Andor, and then I liked there was some stuff I liked, you know. They're not gonna please everybody. Quantum stocks. So yeah, let's take a look. So QBTS, 18.5s. Still big gains for these stocks. I mean, these are all up huge if you look at a longer term chart. We have Disney Plus. Yeah, we have Disney Plus too. I have Disney Plus just because, you know, now to buy ESPN, to buy UFC pay-per-views, you got to go through Disney. I had Disney anyway, though. I have kids, you know. I'll let them watch it. But all right, guys. So that did buy in United Health work. Anything else that you guys see that's down significantly? That's a good company, but is down big. Maybe has a low PE ratio. Looks like there might be some value in it. Anybody know of anything? Target? AMD. Yeah, I see AMD. I don't know if it's down significantly. It's down to 160s. I mean, I don't know if this is down significantly. I don't know if that's a big enough dip for me to be necessarily interested in it. If we take a look at a daily chart, yeah, it's just not down significantly. Really, Nvidia or AMD is getting up there, and it's been on a huge surge. And so, I mean, microchips are already up big. I just don't know if I would consider that down significantly. Target, I don't really hate Target here. Here's the problem, though. I mean, Target's usually still very busy when I go there. United Health is down significantly. If not, I'm in United Health already. I already bought United Health at 240s. It's at 250s now, and I took a little bit of profit in that one already. So I already bought United Health. I'm also in Amazon a little bit. Novo. What is it? What's Novo symbol? NVOS, is that it? NVO is what it is. Yeah, I mean, NVO is down a lot. Problem is that this is a multi-year downtrend, and I don't like it. I want something that's down big, maybe on the year, but it's not like a multi-year downtrend. And my logic of this is that if it's down for years and years, that might be a genuine, like, deeper negative sign for the company overall. Versus something that's just down in the year, which might be down more so on emotion. Where's HIMS at? HIMS is still down pretty big too. The problem with HIMS is the PE ratio. I gotta be really selective with stuff I dip by like this. So keep listing anything that you think I might like. ASML, yeah, hasn't ASML rebounded already though? Kind of heading back down still. Let's look it up. ASML has a 25 PE ratio. ASML's median 10-year is 35. So ASML genuinely under it. Yeah, so ASML retraced almost 7%. Concerns over slowed growth next year. Geopolitical trade risk and soft order flow. AI demand. They trimmed their 2025 revenue guidance to midpoint around 7.4 to 7.9 billion for quarter 3. 30% tariffs on semiconductors equipment from the European Union is the risk here with this one. So like I would normally buy this based off of where it is now. The problem is that if we do, the president keeps saying that we might get updated tariffs on semiconductors and AI stuff. And so with that, I don't want to buy ASML and then have some big tariff announcement with microchips coming out that just dumps this down, if that makes sense. So I think that's a little bit riskier. I mean, I'm holding Amazon as well right now, and I think that's a risk for Amazon too, but I've already taken some profit on Amazon as well, to be honest. PayPal, I don't hate PayPal. The last time I bought PayPal was at 50 and 60. And so if it's getting closer to that, which it is, I might buy PayPal right here, actually. I don't hate it. Still risks, but less risks, I think. But I might buy PayPal here. What should I buy in PayPal? What's a reasonable amount of shares? I'm going to use like 45 as my risk level here for PayPal, I think. Longer term position, though. They're up a little bit today, so what can I buy? PayPal is $68 a share. If I buy 1,000 shares, that's 68 grand. I'm not doing that. 68 times 50. Yeah, I might buy like 50 to 60 shares of PayPal. Not a huge position. Couple $1,000 position. You know, we'll buy 50 now. What do we get? All right, we just got in. Market order. 68.30 is our average for PayPal. Longer term investment though. We're just gonna sit in this longer term. Most likely. I don't hate PayPal. PayPal's down, and I like PayPal's long-term trend. Not an investment professional though, chat. Listen, I'm not liable if you lose money. I might have no idea what I'm talking about. Some of these are longer-term investments, and so it's not gonna matter what happens short-term. I can sit on this as long as I really need to, and it's not gonna matter. So don't copy me. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Well, there's a reason. Somebody's talking about AMD being down and there not being a reason. I think it was Kelly. Or Michelle, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason it's down, just to clarify. So AMD is down for a specific reason. AMD disappointed on AI revenue is what happened. So AMD missed on AI revenue is what this is. And this mixed with Supermicro semiconductors caused the whole sector to fall. You know, the problem right now is that this is the pullback for AMD. And so it's not anywhere near big enough of a pullback for me to get interested in. Not unless I'm like swing trading it. If this was a swing trade, sure. But like, it's not near big enough of a miss. The data center revenue rose only 14% to $3.2 billion, which was much lower than expected. And, you know, analysts noted this was well below the pace set by NVIDIA, which was 73% gain in data center revenue, raising concerns about their ability to compete with NVIDIA and other microchips companies. $800 million charged for export restrictions, so people are worried that the export restrictions are going to hurt AMD. Their MI308 AI chips to China were curbed, and that triggered an approximately $800 million inventory write-down. It led to $155 million pre-write-down operating loss and shaved 10 percentage points off of gross margins from 54 adjusted to 43%. Yeah, so again, China exports and other stuff scaring people for AMD, and frankly, AMD's just not down enough for me to want to buy it here. I'm looking for some value. Markets are close to all-time highs. I'm not really trying to buy most tech stocks. Like, I'm looking for underrepresented stocks. And maybe Target's another one. What's the PE ratio of Target is what I want to know. Hold on. All right, market's kind of consolidating slow here. Yeah, so Target has a PE ratio of 9. How much dividends does Target pay out? Yeah, Target pays a quarterly dividend of $1.14 a share. The dividend yield is based 4 to 4.5%. 4.4 yield in divvies for Target. That's honestly not that bad, but that's why their PE ratio is so low as well. They have a 53 to 54 consecutive years of annual increases in dividends. Yeah, but if I want 4.5%, I'd just buy up TBIL or other treasury bonds and stuff like that. American Eagle, I'm not against anything necessarily. I'm not trying to buy AEO right now. Too volatile. too crazy. It went up to 1450, 1430s, and then went all the way back down to 12s. Those are big percentage swings. I'm not trying to get involved with it. It's big risk, big reward. It's not what I play with. Dude, I'm not buying INOD either, bro. Too volatile. Honestly, it doesn't really move that much long term, and then short term is too volatile. Sorry, bro. Been kind of sideways for a year now. Coca-Cola hasn't moved since February. Long-term good trend for Coca-Cola though, and it's starting to gain on Pepsi and other stuff. But I think the problem with some of these brands is that healthier alternatives are coming out, like stevia colas and stuff like that. There's a lot of big swings on the upside in healthier brands for soda. And caffeine in general, you know, so I think that's gonna potentially weigh on them. But I still like Coca-Cola as a company. I just don't know if I like it this close to all-time highs. Somebody said Nike. Nike is down pretty big, and I don't think anybody's gonna take the seat from Nike in terms of brands. Should have bought it back here at 50, but I'll watch it. It's an option. Sorry, Pew. I gotta be honest with people about stocks. I'm very selective with stocks. I'm not just gonna buy just to buy. I like Google as well, to be honest. And Google, in terms of, I mean, Google's close to all-time highs though. So, while I think Google will break all-time highs, in long term it's not gonna matter if I DCA into it. But I don't know yet. Whirlpool, I'm not buying. Sorry, Doug. I mean, it is down pretty significantly. The problem is that when you go look at a long-term chart, this thing's been downtrending since almost 5 years, which is more indicative of a negative trend in the company overall versus a downswing. You know, so like that's the problem with Whirlpool. It might be cheap here. I'm not saying you're wrong. It might continue to increase, and it's down a lot. And so you might be making money here, but if I'm investing in a company, I don't want it to have a almost 5-year downtrend like this. You know, regardless of anything like that. I don't know enough about Whirlpool as a company. Don't they make like saunas, hot tub machines, or hot tubs and stuff like that? And if that's the case, I know nothing about this business. And so, and it's downtrending for 4.5 years. I'm just not really interested in buying up that. Sorry, bro. No offense. Sorry. I call everybody bro, but it's just not something I'm interested in. Hope you understand. People are saying Apple as well. I really don't hate Apple here. People are pessimistic on it, but it's freaking Apple. Gotta clear some of these drawings. It's Apple. At 200s as well. So maybe Apple a little bit. What's the PE ratio on Apple? Yeah, sorry guys. It looks like we just lagged out for a couple seconds. We're here. It's a little bit of glitching and lag. I don't know what happened. OBS has been doing this a lot, to be honest. Who knows? I'm looking at Novo. Novo CFO Wigovi says U.S. price erosion is more skewed towards the second half. Nah, we're back. Let me know if you can hear me. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me now? You should be good. Yeah, we dropped some frames. I don't know why I just did that. That was strange. But you should be good to hear. But yeah, Novo says price erosion is skewed toward the second half of the year. Okay, cool. Luckily, it doesn't look like it stopped any steam towards... Yeah. Good now? Alright, cool. Yeah, you can keep listing companies. ASTS is up big, though. I mean, that's a big run. Might be a growth company. It's not really what I'm looking at. Yeah, we're back. And again, we don't really have any big data that comes out today. Nothing big. We got crude oil inventories and other stuff. Collins speaking. We got one of the 10-year bond auctions going live. And so that might move things. Tomorrow is the biggest day of the week, though. We got jobless claims, non-farm productivity, Bostic and Moore speaking. Mexico interest rate decision. Next week's honestly the busier week here. Next week we got a whole bunch of stuff. We've got CPI, PPI, retail sales, consumer sentiment from Michigan, Fed speaking as well. And then later on this month, we have the Jackson Hole Symposium with Jerome Powell. All right, so PayPal actually spiking up a little bit here, which is good. Nvidia is still down, rejecting here. We got this 200 exponential plus support level here, but the problem is we're just chopping a little bit too much. What's the new symbol for... it used to be SQ is what I remember it as. What's the symbol for block now? It's something else. Anybody know? I can't remember. It used to be SQ. I don't know what it is now. I can't remember what it is. BOK? Oh, that's BlackRock. Bank stocks? What are bank stocks doing right now? A little bit of a contraction in bank stocks. Bank of America. BAC's down. Wells Fargo down too. JP Morgan is down a little bit as well. CYZ, or it's XYZ, right? Yeah, it's XYZ, what it is. I know they had a short report. This is like the company that owns Cash App and more. It's down. Bitcoin and other stuff still sitting tight here. That 114.74s. Coinbase down big. Yeah, but that's just on the retraction in Bitcoin. You know, Coinbase, I'd rather just buy Bitcoin. Coinbase is a little bit too volatile for me. And I know that's ironic considering how volatile Bitcoin is. But if I'm going to bet on Bitcoin, I'm just going to bet on Bitcoin. I'm not going to bet on a platform, because then that's betting on a specifically centralized exchange. And I think that makes it a little bit too restrictive of an investment. I'd rather just bet on Bitcoin's increase versus Coinbase, if that makes sense. I like Coinbase. I support them. I think they're doing a lot of good stuff in crypto. But they're not really a company that I necessarily want to invest in like that. I'd rather just buy Bitcoin. Circle. All right, so we're getting this dip down here. Maybe I'll try to buy this dip. Hey, what's up, Beach? I like some mining stocks like Mara. I'm looking at maybe buying this dip, although I do think chips are down. I need 167.75 if I'm going to day trade this. I'd prefer a larger pullback here. CoreWeave. Where's CoreWeave at now? They dipped a little bit. And really, it's still a long-term downtrend. Not really long term, I'm sorry. It's only a couple months, but I don't honestly hate buying this dip at $100. We'll try. What should we buy? I gotta take a small position here just because the risk is a little high. And the volatility is high as well. You're not gonna let me buy it? Why not? I can't day trade it? I think I have to let my funds settle. I just put a bunch of money in this accounting, back in this account, so I think I have to let my funds settle, is what it says. Yeah, it's not letting me. This is not day trading eligible, and my funds have to settle first because they're too sketched out by CoreWeave. That's kind of weird though, honestly. They're restricting people buying it. I think it's at a good level too, but Uber. I don't hate Uber, but Uber is also in a mix of like earnings released for Uber this morning. Like Uber earnings came out. Where's DraftKings at, man? I haven't really seen DraftKings. Here's this breakdown coming through. Yo, I haven't even looked at DraftKings in a minute, though. DraftKings, you know, been kind of sideways for years now, is the problem with it. I remember when this thing was like $10. But it's been sideways for years. It's getting close to that all-time high level. I don't necessarily hate DraftKings. I mean, maybe leading into like the baseball finals. So the NASDAQ just flushed here. Let's see if there's any breaking news to justify this. Novo CFO says low range of new 25 outlook is to cater for unforeseen events such as gross to net adjustments in the U.S. market and obesity. The obesity market is volatile. We are dipping down here. If I look at news, SOFR rate 4.34%, a little bit higher. Blackstone is said to agree to a $6 billion deal for Inverus, according to Bloomberg. We had a meeting between Putin and Witkoff ending today. Retail may pump. Where's Tesla at this morning? Tesla at 308. I might buy this 150 level if we get a dip to it. That other pullback was too big. And if I take a look at like Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, Uber, all very volatile this morning after earnings. I'll look to buy this 150 level if we get it though. This might be some geopolitical stuff going on. All right, we're gonna start buying here and maybe just add to this position. We're right exactly where we wanted at 5. I'm catching a fallen knife here, so I gotta be careful. But we had a pretty green day yesterday. I want to give it a chance to bounce here, but we're falling pretty fast. I cut some of that right there just to protect it. Basically, we actually got out of the green. But we maybe got in too big of size, so I'll give it a second. All right, there's the bounce. See if it follows through. All right, we got filled on that. We're green. There we go, we're out. Okay, it worked. Oh, I don't know if y'all can see this. Sorry. Here. Let me put this up. My bad, guys. But we did catch the bounce at 150s. Look at the bounce right here. So we caught the bounce on our level. I just kind of scalped it really quick, to be honest. And we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we just kind of scalped it quickly. Yeah, Supermicro Semiconductor down. It's always been a really volatile stock. Hassett said the president's not aiming to hire people to give data he likes. The president's top priority is to make echo data reliable. That's what I'm here for, you know. He said he's not aiming to hire people. Top priority, making economic data reliable. You guys agree? Let me know in chat. So we did get a bounce exactly at that 150 spot. The 3-day rule, do you mean the PDT rule or I'm assuming Charlie means let it earnings settle for 3 days to see the appropriate direction. All right, so Director Hassett says U.S. President says Russia sees India as a release valve where they can sell its stuff. India is the focus when asked about other nations assisting Russia. Trump is not aiming to hire people to give data he likes. Again, we kind of covered this a little bit already. Yeah, again, one of my favorite trading strategies is to look for big negative overreactions in earnings. So if a stock's right here and then earnings come out and it's a good company, low PE ratio, positive trend, and it drops 10% from it on earnings, sometimes there's really easy day trades. I'm going to preface it with I can't guarantee anything like this is going to work, but a lot of the time, like, I'll choose to buy this up here and then look for the following like rebound like this over the next few days, and then cut it here if I need to for like a swing trade or a day trade even, or just kind of average in on these on this big discount right here for long-term positions. And that's something I do a lot as well, just kind of average in on long-term positions. If I find something that is really extended, like an emotional reaction on something, like if a company has good EPS, good revenue, and some small aspect of their business causes too much pessimism short term and just overreactions, I can buy those up. That's what I like doing, and that's worked really well for me. You know. $1.2 million of super micro. Yeah, I mean, if somebody's buying up that big of size ahead of earnings, they're usually just trying to gamble. You know. So if somebody's buying up that much ahead of earnings, they're just gambling, to be honest. All right, again, I'm going to buy this up right now. One small contract here. A little bit of volatile from earnings, but we have some green on the day. Yeah, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Let me do a poll. I haven't done a poll this morning. Are you bullish or bearish for today's market? Guys, let me know. Bitcoin selling off right now. Eesh, look at this pullback here. I'm not going to add to this, I think. Oh, we popped almost all the way back up here. Yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin just fell down to under the VWAP here short term. $23,000 today? Maybe. I'm trading kind of small. You know. All right, so Hassett says expected announcement of the new Apple factory. He says we're likely to see investment commitment from Apple on Wednesday, according to Fox Business. Oh, yeah. Going on right now. Apple started to rebound back up a little bit. It's at 203.50s, but I think it's making people pessimistic a little bit as well. So we'll see how the net reaction is for this. Do me a favor, bump that like button, the subscribe button. So yeah, we're already green on the day, so we're taking this one micro contract position and we're just gonna let this go long term, longer term for a day trade for me. What we're doing. So we're starting to bounce back up a little bit, but look at gold dump. So gold's actually falling down as well. Where's the VIX at this morning? I'm sure the VIX is up a little bit. It's up a little bit from where it's basically completely flat on the day for the VIX. You say gambling, but the person's donating his money. Yeah. Kind of. VIX is now elevated on the day too. Now it's actually up slightly. It was basically flat a minute ago. Now it's green. Hassett on Switzerland said we'll see how it goes. Again, he said the Apple announcement will likely to be today, and he says we're likely to see investment commitment from Apple today on Wednesday. All right, look at this. Nicely green here. I'm going to add a little bit to this position now. I'll let it work for a little while. And then I'm going to remove half of that and just lock the profit in and then sit on the rest. Now, we're not going to be red on the day, but I'd love for this to continue back up and not be shot sideways. Look at Apple pump here. I was almost buying Apple this morning. Look at Apple pump on this news. A little late reaction to it, to be honest. But, yeah, because we covered this Apple news, what, like 5 minutes ago? And now Apple's finally starting to run a little late. I'm okay with it. Hassett asked about Fed job. Happy to talk about challenge. Yeah, so just put it in perspective. Hassett is one of the Kevins. So Hassett is one of the Kevins. Think about adding a little bit more to this. I need a little bit more green, I think, to add. We also have that 200 exponential right above me here. Maybe I should have added. All right. I plan to hold it break even, but I'd rather let it, of course, run. Alright, I'm going to cut it right here. We just made too much short term. We got this level above us right here that we don't want to run into. And so nice little trade. I've been working on taking longer term trades, and honestly my accuracy has gone up dramatically. What do you mean one of the Kevins? So when the president was asked who he's going to make the next FOMC chairman, he said it's one of the Kevins. There's two Kevins. Kevin Hassett, I can't remember the other one. But Hassett, the dude speaking, is one of the Kevins that might be next FOMC chairman. And he kind of confirmed it just now when Hassett was asked about the FOMC job. He said he's happy to talk about the challenge of it, essentially. So he might be the next FOMC chairman. Might is the key word here. All right, so now we're testing the 200 exponential. Again, Apple's driving this on the news about Apple announcement will likely be today. We're likely to hear about the new factory from them today. And that news is driving Apple up in pre-market right now as we speak. Kevin Bacon. I'd vote for him. I love Tremors, the movie. Apple up to 205.50s. Shopify at 146. Shopify's up big too, man. It's almost the 150s. I'm not buying it up here though, but it doesn't look terrible. Hollow Man's good too. Yeah, I like Hollow Man. Again, y'all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, chat. We appreciate it. Oh, sorry to hear that, BT. What's up, Sam? What's up, KC, Pew, JWC? How can you make a living if you only trade micro, mini, NASDAQ? Because I'm not trying to earn a living right now off of my trading profits. I think that's the mistake almost everybody faces here. My channel's called Beginner Trading, brother. Like, mostly I'm covering economic and stock news, and you can watch me day trade live. I'm not going to lie to you guys and act like I'm living off of my trading profits like a lot of people do. That's just not really feasible. Most of the people that are telling you they're living off of their trading profits are actually living off of marketing revenue. And I make far more money from marketing than I ever do trading. And again, that's not a surprise. That should be a pretty reasonable expectation. So you can either kind of fall for it when people pretend that they're, you know, some rich day trader, but most of the time they're rich from marketing, not day trading. Just to clarify. All right, so maybe I shouldn't have sold right there. We're still pushing up. We're at 23 180s. Yeah, exactly. Drop. No, you can make a living trading only micros. Most of the time when I pass these challenges, it's micros as well. You know, 5 micros is half a mini, and so micros are fine. Apple's still surging up though. That's what's driving this rebound and everything. And I'd rather be real with people instead of pretend. You know, I think too many people, like, they want to believe that they can, you know, and you can, but it takes a long time. And all right, so the Kremlin aide says that the U.S. Special Envoy Witkoff talks were useful and constructive. So, again, NVIDIA up to 177. So NVIDIA bouncing back with Apple. I was thinking about buying Apple too. I'm a little mad. I bought United Health. I also bought Amazon this morning. We don't have any big reports, but all right, so we got over 800 people already. Not even 8:30 yet, so we appreciate you guys watching us. I think people watch this stream because they know we cover breaking news, economic reports. If you want to know what's going on in finance, you can watch us and we'll basically tell you. All right, so Apple's moved up big again on news that they might announce. We're likely to hear about the new factory from them today, and if that happens, people are kind of front loading into Apple. That's why Apple's up to almost $206 a share. It's rebounded the NASDAQ up pretty substantially here, and this is after, again, AMD had bad AI revenue numbers, lower than expected AI revenue numbers. Supermicro Semiconductor also reacted negatively to their earnings. Microchip fears and woes are here. And Apple, you know, people like to always compare Apple to the other big software companies, but Apple is a hardware company. You know, like, yeah, they have their operating systems, but Apple is a hardware company. They sell AirPods and phones and computers. It's hardware, not software. Versus like Microsoft, Google, you know, all the other big boys in tech that are mostly software companies. And so when you look at AI, the companies that you want on the forefront of AI are going to be software companies because AI is a software, you know. You can't look at a hardware company and get mad they're not competing with the software companies and AI, because it's not really a reasonable comparison. They're just two different things. I like Apple long term, and I think Apple's going to be incredibly strong long term. Short term, you never know, it might go down. But I have a Samsung. I don't even use an Apple, but I can recognize the trends, and the trends are that young people do not want a Samsung. It ostracizes them from their friend group to a certain extent, and Apple's been very calculated with this. Very smart with this. And so I think Apple's going to continue to grow, continue to make good money. Yeah, you can't compare apples to oranges. I like that. Yeah, Apple's up, but we're starting to turn a little bit here. Let's see if there's a stock reason for the turning. Apple's pulling back a little bit, but it's not enough to justify this drop. Tesla's falling down a little bit. Nvidia's dipping down some. That's right, 6. Show me the next Bitcoin, please. I don't think there's gonna be another Bitcoin, bro. Bitcoin has filled a very specific need, and yeah, I don't think anything's gonna get the traction Bitcoin's gotten, not in a long time at least. All right, look at this contraction all the way back down. Looks like I sold pretty close. I mean, I sold right around here. Was it right here? Yeah, I'll take it. We're starting to turn down though. We have some reports today. Nothing like big. We don't have anything at 8:30 either. Earnings this evening. We've got yeah, so we had earnings, Uber, BDPS. Okay, dude, AI freaking sucks. Wait, so what did Uber do? Uber posted. All right, we got AppLovin, Duolingo, IONQ, DraftKings, Elf, Symbiotic, Dutch Bros, Airbnb, DoorDash, Lyft, and more tomorrow evening. Uber CEO says he talked to major private equity players and banks regarding financing for robotaxi. He says talking to all major OEMs in the robotaxi space. Not measured changes in terms of trends due to Tesla robotaxi deployment in Austin and San Fran, according to Newswires. So we're still hitting that 150 level, but Apple's starting to bounce back here. Unity dropped earnings today. They also missed EPS, beat revenue. If we bounce at 150 here, we're trying to. Post this. And again, give me a follow on x.com. Michael Saylor says you do not sell your Bitcoin. All right, so Hassett's done speaking. He said I discussed tariff situation with the Swiss. Yeah, so earnings this morning we had Uber, Shopify, NVO, Oscar, Disney, McDonald's, Unity, NRG, On, Dave, Geo, Gurn, NVAX. How did NVAX do? NVAX did, I don't know, when did they drop? 8 a.m.? Let's pass that now. Let's just see what NVAX does. Circle, or CRL, I mean. ACMR, DT, MNKD, TRMB, ROK. PFI, and IRM. All right, so now we're under 150. Apple started to push up. We're at 205.50s. Yeah, give me a follow on x.com. We post like a big spreadsheet of the earnings. So DJT is beginning public beta testing on AI search engine. Apple's still pretty elevated here too. How's Robinhood been doing? Still up a lot, but a little mixed since earnings day. Yeah, I know Shopify's up pretty substantially here. We're watching Apple news though. Yeah, like every day we post a spreadsheet of like all the earnings that dropped. And so if you give me a follow on x.com at beginner trades, BEGINNERTRADES trades, at beginner trades, you can kind of catch this and like see what everything did for the most part. Some stuff's missing here, but yeah. Yeah, there's news on Apple. Again, we've said this a couple times. I might start putting it at the bottom of the screen. The news on Apple specifically is that Apple where'd it go? Sorry. Apple might announce its new factory today, is the news on Apple. According to Hassett, who might be the next FOMC chairman. Oh, that's essentially the news. All right, so we did a poll this morning. Palantir, we did a poll. 56% are bullish, 44% are bearish. Pawn said one thing that was interesting the other day with Palantir was that they were talking about increased demand, but AI was also going to allow them to release 25% of their payroll and still meet needs. What's up with crypto YouTubers making their necks really skinny? I didn't make my neck skinny. If you're talking about my thumbnail, I just made my head really big. Because I'm a genius, you know? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I just supersized. President's gonna make a major announcement today, August 6th. What time? Also, guys, Topstep released its new dashboard today. Alright, so we're rebounding back up. But yeah. Topstep got their new dashboard live here, where you can basically, once you pass the test, you can activate your funded account immediately. It shows you where you're at, follows you in real time, shows you where your daily loss limit is, profit streak, successful, unsuccessful trades, all that good stuff here. So Topstep recently did this. I just reset this, one of the challenge accounts, so you can see, but this is their new dashboard. It's really, really nice. Yeah, it's now live, so check it out. Again, if you want to check out Topstep, great way to help support the channel. No PDT in futures. You could day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, commodities. A lot of similarities to day trading stocks, but no PDT restrictions. You can get started for $50 plus tax. If you fail, you're out $50. It's not the end of the world. If you pass it, 50K funded account, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in. And so it's good. It's low risk, similar reward to funding your own account with split 90% first 10K. And so it's the best of both worlds. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, of course, because I get paid by them, but genuinely useful. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. And yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Pretty solid. Again, you want to confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. Understand CFTC 4.41. Uber's up a little bit from their report, I think, or at least they're look at Apple start to rebound. So Apple hit 206, still climbing higher. All right, so the president's going to deliver a high-stakes announcement from the Oval Office today, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this whole month and then some of last month, they've done it to where it's been like a week on, week off for economic reports. And so like we've had a lot of economic reports one week condensed, and then, you know, it has to do with when they're scheduled here. All right, CPI is always between the 10th and the 13th of the month. Payrolls, I think, is always on the first Friday of the month. Yeah. I think payrolls are always on the first Friday of every month. First Friday. So that was the first of this month. The first day of this month was a Friday. Next month, they'll come out on the 5th. All right, so we're pulling back a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what high stakes mean. We'll see. AMD coming back. Yeah, it's back up a little bit. See if it holds. Market's very flat, big range, but sideways. I think the new dashboard's nice. Yeah, I'm on a 6-day profit streak on the current account that I'm on. Supermicro semiconductors. Yeah, I mean, Supermicro is struggling here. And it's trying, but it's down a lot. Just spiked all the way up to 51s and then came right back down here. So I don't know what's going on with Supermicro semiconductors. McDonald's CEO says despite inflation across most of Europe, IOM markets are being prudent about pricing actions, outperform nearing competitors on both comp sales and comp guest discounts, according to the conference call they're doing right now. So yeah, it could be Kugler's replacement for Fed governor. I'm looking up some other breaking news here. I just don't see any. Walmart is selling 110 gold-plated crystals. United Health destroyed your account last week. Yeah, I mean, I just bought UNH just now. My average price is 240s. It's at 252s. Yeah, 252 right now. So I got in at under 241. And so we're at 252. So on a percentage basis, we're doing pretty good short term in a 24-hour trade. Made a couple percent there, which is solid. I'll take it. Green is good. How's Walmart stock doing? Speaking of Walmart. Walmart's been sideways since June. Really, it's been sideways. Yeah, since April. It's starting to get up there, though. Still around all-time highs. What about Home Depot? I always like Home Depot as a stock. How much is T-bill playing out right now? TBIL. So what this is, guys, just to put this into perspective, this is a Treasury. This is a ETF that follows Treasury bill payouts. Okay, so what I mean by that is that I can buy T-bill right now. Hold on. I can buy T-bill right now, and whatever I invest into it, it's going to yield about 4.5% right now, and it pays me that in dividends. So I can buy T-bill right now. Actually, I think it's gonna let me mark it in. Let's see. Maybe not. I'll just limit it. It doesn't matter. So I could buy T-bill right now, and as of the first of every month, it's gonna pay me out a specific yield. It basically follows treasuries. And so if you want an easy way to invest in treasury bonds, or if you've got some money sitting in your brokerage account you're not using, you might as well invest in something like this, right? Like, just as an example, if I buy $20,000 worth of T-bill, I'm gonna earn annualized what, 4.5%? I think it's like 4.4%. So I'm gonna earn about $880 a year from this investment. You know, on a monthly perspective, about $74 a month. I might as well like let my money sit if that's what you want to do. So if you got a bunch of money sitting here, and maybe that's an option. Again, not an investment professional, not liable if you lose money. Don't copy me. Yeah, well, TLT are bonds, but if you think yields are going up, I think yields are going to be going down, though. So, point yesterday at 300. We'll see. Again, Apple's the big news. It's been rising up on the Hassett factory announcement update. Still holding right at this level though. Apple just broke highs quickly again of the day at least. Still rising up. What's the major news geopolitical announcement today? Well, there's not any economic reports, really. Deutsche Bank adjusts Hims and Hers price target to $48 from $43 and maintains a hold rating. And so that just happened. That happened like 45 minutes ago. But Hims got upgraded this morning. Still not really holding, though. Although NASDAQ's starting to rise. Look at Apple still push up. So people are still pretty optimistic. Hassett, one of the White House directors, Hassett, says, one of the Kevins that might potentially replace Powell, said that they expect to announce the Apple factory sometime today, most likely. And Apple obviously has been really up on this report. It's up to 206.50s. NASDAQ's been following it to a certain extent. Microchips are still down from yesterday, though. They're still red. AMD, NVIDIA, other Supermicro. But Apple's been rising. Excuse me. This is TOS right here. So this is TOS. This is Topstep X and their new platform. So this is stock trading. And again, we bought a couple things. We bought PayPal this morning. We bought Amazon and United Health yesterday. So this is stock trading, and then this is futures trading right here. So, any positive news coming in days? Tomorrow we have jobless claims, unemployment. I don't know if it's going to be positive or negative tomorrow. But we do have jobless claims, unemployment going live tomorrow, and then CPI inflation data on like the 12th, Tuesday of next week. Thank you, Zeta. My take on Amazon. Number one, I bought it yesterday. Rode it all the way up to where it's at now at 215s from 212s. And so it's kind of Amazon trade. I don't mind holding it long term, but I'm going to try to protect myself if it starts to really pull back significantly here. I bought it after its big negative reactions to earnings. And so if you look at Amazon here, the reason I bought it is because, and again, I'm going to preface it, again, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Like, always make your own assessment, trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. Understand CFTC. Sometimes I trade and lose off stream. Don't copy me. I'm the worst trader ever. Don't copy me. With that said and out the way, though, I bought Amazon because this is a big negative reaction to earnings. Here's where earnings came in at 240s. Amazon dropped a very large percentage, and I do like Amazon as a company long term. I think Amazon, almost everybody in the United States uses them and is somewhat dependent on them. You know, everybody uses them for the most part here. Very rarely do people not use Amazon throughout their daily life, and I think that makes Amazon a very powerful company long term, you know. So that's why I bought Amazon after the big pullback. I can hold it long term. I can DCA into it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm up green in it. I've already taken some profit in it as well. Same thing with United Health. I'm up decently in it in 24 hours, and I've already taken some profit in that one too, just to lock in and protect. Y'all making fun of me because I sneezed? That hurts, man. That hurts. Can't even sneeze around here. Where's Palantir at this morning? Yeah, I mean, Palantir still pretty close to highs after earnings on Monday. Robinhood giving 4.5% on uninvested cash. I like that for Robinhood. I think that's smart. Good way to get people involved. I was explaining this to my wife, but you know what these banks and companies do, and this is how they make money, right? Like, you ever hear a bank say, hey, you can, if you leave your money in your account, if you leave, you know, money in your account, we'll pay you X amount for a certified deposit. You know, like, let's say it's 4%. And what the banks are doing is they're taking your money and then they're investing it in the stock market long term, because they've got plenty of money. They can sit on this stuff long term, and the stock market gives you on average 8 to 10% a year. And so they're making 8 to 10% a year longer term, and then they're taking, you know, their profit from it, and they're saying, okay, here's 4% a year, you know. And sometimes they're making more than 8 to 10% a year, depending on what they're doing. And then they're pocketing the difference. Free money, using your money as leverage, not theirs. I guess it is kind of theirs, but that's what banks are doing. So banks might make 10% a year, promise you if you leave your money in your account, they'll pay you 4% for a certified deposit. And you're like, well, my money's just sitting there, so I might as well do it. And the banks are like, well, we're going to make 10% anyway, so we're going to profit 6% from this with virtually risk-free. It's not really, you know, I mean, it's not no risk. They could lose money, but if you sit in it long enough, you're probably going to make money. So, but that's what the banks are doing, is they're taking your money, investing it in riskier assets, and then paying you your little 4%, little 3.5% for a certified deposit. Yeah, or writing mortgages at 6.8%, 100%. Yep. Banks give guaranteed, but share market is volatile. No, absolutely. So nothing's guaranteed in shares. But when you look at shares long term, over a century of data, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, average annual yield is like 8 to 10%. And so long term, it's incredibly consistent. Like, if you sit on indices long term, you're almost certain to make money. And that's what the banks are doing, because they've got time. They're not worried about this week. They're worried about 30 years from now, you know. All right, so Kashkari speaking right now. He says the economy is slowing, not clear the impact of tariffs on inflation. Also, the White House says Apple is going to boost U.S. investment commitment by $100 billion. That might be pushing Apple even higher here. Yeah, the S&P up 7% on the year. Right, and that's what the banks are doing. Yes, last year the S&P did what? Like, what? I know the NASDAQ did like 50 last year. And so imagine all those people that left money in a CD for all of last year. The bank took that money, invested it, made 50%, and then gave you 4%. And that's what they do. And you can't even knock them for it, because your money's guaranteed. Regardless of whether they make 50 or lose 50, you're going to get your little 4%. And so it's not like they're taking it. I mean, they're taking advantage, but you can't really get mad at them for it, because people sometimes just want reliability for their investments. And I get it, you know. Right, people choosing, exactly. They don't want to deal with it, 100%. Again, Kashkari says the economy is slowing, not clear the impact of tariffs on inflation. Apple at 207s, still pushing higher. We did bounce right here at this level at 167s, though. They're taking all the risk. Yeah, with your money, you know. They got to pay out that 4% anyway. CDs have some of the best return rates right now. Well, they're mirroring treasuries. The CD returns, CD rates right now. CD is offering 4.5% for 6 months. Above 4. Yeah, I mean, they're just mirroring treasuries. So if you look at yields, that's what CD rates mirror. Like, look, 4.23%. Really, like, this is the last few days. So if you look up here, you look at like a 1 month chart, yields have been anywhere between 4.8%. No, that's earlier this year. Yeah, in the last 2 months, yields have been anywhere between 4.5 to 4.23%. But that's what the CD rates are mirroring. It's just the Treasury yields. And again, if interest rates go down, yields are going to decrease too. And so, like, if you think we're going to get a September cut and yields are going to go down, if you think we're going to get a September cut and interest rates are going to start going down, then yields will start decreasing as well. Bond prices will go up though. So. You buy yields, and there might be a way to buy them. I don't know. I don't think so. They're yields. They're annual returns, interests. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way you could buy them. I'm just not used to buying yields. The only reason you'd want to buy yields is if you think the Fed's going to be more hawkish than expected. So if you think the Fed's going to be more hawkish than expected, when that happens, yields will consequently spike from it. And so that's basically, if you're buying yields in some form of instrument, what you're trying to do is front load into a more hawkish sentiment than expected. Not saying you should or shouldn't do it. We did bounce right here at 167, still heading up. I'm still watching this 23.2 level up here. All right, so Disney reaffirmed their guidance. We were talking about Disney earlier. Disney down still, but up a little bit. Their guidance reaffirming. Just a little bit too elevated for me to want to buy Disney up here. Disney's been kind of flat. I mean, it owns everything, but Disney's been sideways since 2022. Starting to trend higher, though. There might be an argument for Disney. I mean, they're buying some of ESPN. I know they're buying like NFL Red Zone. And so we'll see. Years ago, they told us to buy T-bills and CDs. The time to buy Treasury bills and certified deposits, meaning like putting your money in CDs, buying bonds. The time to buy bonds is the most obvious time to buy bonds in the last few years was when inflation got up very high, 8, 9, 10%. And we know the Fed's going to go hawkish after that and start raising rates. When they raise rates, or actually, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, when they raise rates, it's going to increase yields. And so you're going to have some really high yields for a period of time after the Fed's gets hawkish. You know, bond prices are going to go down and yields are going to go up. And that happened, what, like 2022? That was probably the best time to buy them. Now they're still high though. I mean, they're still elevated. It's not like interest rates are low right now. I mean, you're still earning a lot from yields. T-bills paying out 4.5% right now, so that's pretty solid. Where's Figma at? I know Figma IPO'd a few days ago and then gave a lot of it back. It's all the way down at 78. It hit 140s, 150s. Yeah, Figma gave a lot of this back already and it's starting to dump. That's why I don't get involved with IPOs. I just don't. I got destroyed on Coinbase IPO years ago. I bought Coinbase's IPO at like 4 something. It was at like 420s or 430s. And that thing went from... I cut it after it dipped 25%. I ended up cutting it. But that thing went from like 430 all the way down to $31 within a few years. I didn't hold it anywhere near that long though. But since then I stopped buying IPOs. There's just too much risk. There's too much momentum on either side. Yeah, I like Red Zone too. Red Zone basically shows you all the touchdowns that are happening at any, like, simultaneously. If a team is in the red zone, they show it. Good idea. honestly, I'm still pretty PO'd about the sports restrictions, especially in baseball, right? Like, there's no freaking way they should, like I gotta buy Xfinity just to watch baseball in my area. What a crock of, you know, like, how ridiculous. If I want to watch baseball and I'm in Houston and I want to watch the Astros play, y'all are gonna make me buy Comcast? I refuse to. I'll miss every game. I don't care. I'm not buying Comcast. And the fact that they black out your home team, like, normally these games come on like normal TV. But if they black out your area specifically, that's the opposite of how it should be. Like, if I'm in Houston, I should be able to watch the Houston Astros, you know? And the fact that, like, the teams did these deals with these big greedy cable providers, blacking out the freaking games in your area is the most ridiculous deal in sports that's ever been done. Absolutely ridiculous. They make you jump through hoops just to watch these games. And of course, the owners are behind it because they're getting big checks from it, but I'm sure it reduces their viewership. It's a racket for sure, you know. Alright, guys. Apple's still up there. Supermicro's starting to bounce back. AMD is what we should be watching today. Nvidia both rebounding. AMD starting to come back. All of these are still pretty red on the day, though. Apple news is that there's a couple Apple news releases that have come out over the last 20 minutes or so for Apple. Kashkari stopped commenting. Kashkari basically said it might be appropriate to begin adjusting the policy rate in the near term. Will not comment on personal president choices, but do not doubt the BLS data. Ultimately, you cannot fake economic reality. The unemployment number is very important, but the Fed knows revisions are possible. U.S. labor market is cooling. Reversing course on rates may be better than waiting. Yeah, I agree. Two rate cuts this year do seem appropriate. All right, but the news on Apple, just to clarify here, is that they might announce their new factory today, is the big news that has come out for them. White House says Apple is likely to announce a major investment commitment today as well. I think it was $100 billion. It says White House says Apple is to boost U.S. investment commitment by $100 billion. We also had news for Apple regarding by Hassett. Hassett said some news regarding Apple. Hold on, let me find it. Yeah, but Hassett said we should. They might announce the Apple factory today. Update. Is Burke still down? So Burke shares tumble. Warren Buffett prepares to step down. Honestly, bro, it's not like, again, I'm going to say it again, and anybody that doesn't believe me doesn't understand business, I think, to a certain extent. If you think Warren Buffett's still running the company genuinely at 94 years old, of course he's not. Multi-billion dollar company's not going to get run by a 96-year-old. I don't care how sharp you are at 96. And listen, I've heard him speak. I don't think he's doing bad relative to most 96-year-olds, but he's definitely not running Berkshire Hathaway at 96. Again, these, like, people that run these big companies, they don't take risks like that. Like, they're not gonna, you know. I know the guy from Succession's old, you know, but yeah. Even the guy from Succession was what, 70s and 80s. Warren's, once you hit over 90, the cognitive decline is real. So, speaking of Burke, let's take a look at it. Burke honestly had a pretty good day yesterday, rebounding a little bit. 465s. Burke might be worth a buy here, at least Class B shares. Let me see. I don't hate buying Berkshire Hathaway right here. The only problem is that if they do announce, even though I don't think it's going to mean anything, if they do announce Buffett stepping down, we might get some negative reactions from it short term. Maybe I'll buy that up. Everybody yell at me if they announce Buffett stepping down. John, you were very sharp on business and markets. If you weren't, I wouldn't follow you. Yeah, I mean, that's what I try to do. US might be run by old men, not 90s. Again, my grandma recently passed. She was 96. All right. She didn't know what was going on at the end. She kind of did, but not enough to run a Fortune 500 company. You know, rest in peace to my grandmother. I loved her. She was a good person. But after 90, I don't even think humans are supposed to live that long. Yeah, I mean, tariff drama, where everybody's kind of sitting and waiting on updated pharma tariffs. Thursday, tomorrow, is supposed to be the deadline. The 7th, August 7th is supposed to be the deadline. And so we're just kind of waiting for updates on microchips, updates on pharma stocks, updates on India, updates on China. You know, I think China actually got theirs postponed to the 12th, but we're still waiting on it. Yeah, I appreciate it. But with that said, Warren Buffett's not running Fortune 500 company. And so we'll see if they do announce. Again, I don't really hate Burke right here. Like, Burke's actually had a pretty decent pullback from like 540s all the way down to 450s. And so I don't actually hate that dip. I like Burke as a company. But if they do announce Buffett stepping down, again, I don't want to get caught up in that type of momentum. Maybe I'll buy that dip when it happens. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at whether the president's speaking right now. Hold on. You gotta watch. He's not really saying anything new. All right, guys, we got 20 minutes into the opening bell. We'll see what we get. Again, Apple says, or White House says Apple's going to boost investment commitment by $100 billion. Disney CEO Iger says the company is going to invest in its growing international streaming business. Well, yeah. Market news is starting to slow down on these reports. Shopify exec says merchant GMV remains strong. Q2 momentum is carried into Q3. Again, Shopify, one of the better stocks this morning. Look how sideways the market is, though. We're at 127s. Yeah, 127s right now. Shopify's still that big. Let's watch that 150 level. I think that level's interesting. Yeah, the president's supposed to speak at 4:30 today on some type of big announcement. Could be Kugler replacement. Yeah, it could be Kugler replacement. You bullish or bearish on Apple at the opening bell? I guess I'm bullish, but I really don't know. Not an investment professional. Genuinely don't know. No idea what we're going to get in terms of the opening bell. The opening bell, just to put this in perspective, the opening bell has so much variance. So much variance. So, like, I would say extension plays the biggest role in it. Like, if we go down big, sometimes we'll rebound at the opening bell and vice versa. Sometimes, if we have big economic reports, the market waits for the opening bell, which is the highest liquidity point, at least in recent, times for that day. And so sometimes we'll have like good economic data will decrease a very small amount, and then at the opening bell will run, or the opposite of that, where we'll go up a little bit on bad economic data, but then once the opening bell hits, we'll just dump down. That's possible too. There's some edge there, but the variance is so high, meaning we could go either way very easily. It's not absolute. Nothing is really super predictable at the opening bell. You don't know how traders are going to respond. You don't know what the opening volume, the market on open volume is going to look like, and that might push things. And so you just got to just be ready for volatility and variance at the open. I don't know. Hassett announced the Apple news. So Hassett was speaking earlier. He announced the Apple news. I think again, I don't know what the news at 4:30 is going to be. Again, I tend to think it could be the replacement of Kugler announcement. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. High stakes could mean something different. I don't know. Could be a trade announcement. I mean, tomorrow's supposed to be the deadline, the 7th, for a lot of countries. So, AMD's back up. AMD's still rising here. Still down big on the day. It closed at 174. It's at 166. I mean, it's still down. Big percentages, but starting to bounce back a little bit. Nasdaq's starting to come back up a little bit as well. Although I think the Nasdaq's actually green on the day. Yeah, the Nasdaq closed at around 23.92. We're at 23,184 now. So Nasdaq's green. S&P 500's green on the futures market at 6,341 versus 6,324 close. I hope it's nothing in terms of foreign policy like that big. I know he announced the submarine thing. All that just makes me nervous. All right, so let's watch this 23.2 level. Yeah, it's possible, Charlie. I think the secondary sanctions deadline for Russia is up. It'll probably announce an effective date. Potentially. Kugler replacement, I don't know if that's... I mean... We'll see. Again, next week we got CPI inflation data, so it's a little bit busier. But... On the other hand, this is a market open news, not 4:30. Yeah, I'm just telling. I'm not. Yeah. I'm just. People are asking me what this is. All right. So just other things for the role of Fed chair. Polymarket shows Governor Warsh and current NEC Director Hassett as the favorites. Waller is currently the third favorite. The president said that the candidates include 4 people, 2 Kevins, which are Warsh and Hassett, and then 2 other people. Waller is, again, the third option, but the fourth, we don't really know. Judy Shelton is a potentially other contender, advocated by Steve Bannon. Bowman, one of the dissenters, she voted for a 25 basis point cut at the July meeting and was also a nominee, an appointee by him. And again, Powell's term is set to expire May of 2026, so May of next year. If Powell stays on as governor, so he has to step down as chairman, but he could stay on as governor. The president could appoint someone from the current board of governors, which will likely be between whoever the Kugler replacement is, which is again Warsh, Hassett, or Waller and Bowman, which were the dissenters in the FOMC on last week. So. All right, guys, we got about 12 minutes into the opening bell. Start to see some push-ups. Apple slowing down from the good news that came out, the $100 billion investment news. Again, to boost U.S. investment commitment by $100 billion news, as well as the potential factory announcement for them today sometime that the White House stated. So, yeah, at the very least, it does... give me something to talk about. So Pond sent me a news report saying GM is signing a rare earth magnet deal with Novion Magnetics. Which is big for rare earth microchips and AI. Or EVs, I mean, sorry. Because of lithium. All right, guys, 11 minutes left. We'll trade a little bit higher at the opening bell. We can get involved with some day trades too, but Swiss governor says no meeting is scheduled between the president, but that can change. Apple's starting to come all the way back down here. I'm okay with buying Apple right here. See if we get a little VWAP bounce for a little day trade in Apple. Let's try. Give it a swing. Get filled on this other piece. The short-term trade, I just want to see if Apple rebounds into the open. Gold. Didn't really get filled here, unfortunately. Down a little bit now. Go fill. Limit order. I mean, we're already in a couple shares of Apple already. This is the second order we have. Filled me. Okay, there's the order fill. Okay, so we just got filled. Nine minutes into the open. I'm essentially looking for a bounce here in Apple. I'll hold it through the opening bell too. We're just right at that volume weighted average price. So sometimes that's a bounce level. And I think with all the Apple news today, there's optimism from it. So maybe we'll get a good little trade in. We'll see what happens. Yeah, open is down a lot, man. And again, I try to tell you guys about this when the risk is there. Listen, if Zillow, one of the largest real estate companies in the world, can't succeed at a business model, what makes Opendoor capable of succeeding at it? People get it really hyped up about some of these stocks, but that's my fear. And again, to be honest, I don't know the most about OPEN stock, but that's my worry. If Zillow can't succeed, what makes OPEN, a much smaller company, be able to succeed at the same business? That's my fear. Nova NVAX exec says company continues to work with BARDA on potential funding for other stuff. Again, yields have kind of come back down a little bit, but still elevated on the day. 4.23s. Yeah, look at the NASDAQ selling off. This is not driven by Apple. Apple's still holding. Driven by Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon's down. All right, so India and Russia agreed to deepen cooperation in aluminum and fertilizers, and Russian plans to increase Western oil exports to nearly 2 million barrels per day in August after the refineries strikes, according to Reuters. This news might be scaring markets. Yeah, Unity's actually up to $37 right now. That's a big move. Yeah, let's watch this 167 level. We've bounced off of this level a couple different times today. All right, guys, 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, really. Yeah, Apple's coming down. I don't know how much I want to risk here on the day. I could add more here too. I think we're a little too close to the open for it. Big chop today. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have any big economic reports or anything like that. Not really. And again, remember, tomorrow's the big tariff deadline. I'm in Apple. I just bought Apple. I've been buying Apple this morning. Kind of I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It could be a day trade. It could be a longer term day trade or swing trade. I don't know yet. All right, I might sell a little bit more of UNH now that I'm sitting on this as well, though. Risk off. Let's take some profit. And there's Apple spike. Good. I'm gonna add a little bit more to it now. The retracement. Two and a half minutes till the opening bell. Unity's breaking highs again. Apple, that's a pretty big pullback. We're kind of flat now, though, but this might be the market on open news. What was the open? Does anybody know? That might be what's turning things down. A minute and a half left. Yeah, I have no. Again, it doesn't matter. Apple trade's pretty small still. I mean, it's not a big trade. I like the dip, but we got about a minute left, chat. Yeah, I took a little bit off of UNH. Still on Amazon. Nvidia's falling down fast, though. That might be driving it. Yeah, it's probably the market on open. Apple CEO Tim Cook will appear on the U.S. president's announcement, according to CBS. So again, Apple CEO Tim Cook is going to appear on the U.S. president's announcement, according to CBS. Less than a minute, chat. Twenty seconds. So that means the announcement has something to do with Apple. Probably. Alright, there's the bell. AMD and microchips fading though. Switch to market orders now, but I gotta wait a little bit. Alright, Nvidia, Apple spiking up some. Nice. Apple's close to highs of the day. I'm just gonna let this work. Alright, we're about a minute to the open. Apple's up. Nvidia is sideways. AMD's up. Nice. I'm gonna take a little bit of this off right here on Apple, just because I can. Broke highs of the day on Apple. Take another piece off up here. And I'm just gonna let this sit. Hold the rest break even or so. We got room. Take a little bit more off actually up here maybe. Now we'll hold the rest break even. And yeah, we got a lot of room. Apple's still ripping up. Nasdaq's flying up. Apple's still pushing up. Looks like that was a good buy. Take a little bit more off up there too now. Might as well. A big surge for Apple. Look at this. 208s. And I might cut it up here. Alright. Not a bad little day trade for Apple. Small but good nonetheless. Is United Health running up too? Yeah, it is. Good. PayPal? We bought PayPal this morning too. PayPal, hey, we're nicely green on that one too. I should probably liquidate some of this just because I want to hold it long term, but when you're up so much short term, we're just gonna take a little piece of PayPal off, not that much. All right, so let's start day trading futures here now, chat. And remember, check out Topstep if you want to help support the channel. You want to day trade, but you don't have the funds to do it without restriction. Try futures. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow. Moves a lot. Commodities, very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT rule. And this is Topstep X, their native platform. They recently did an update to their dashboard. It's really, really nice. Tracks everything in real time. You can activate funded accounts immediately and more. No PDT rule. Get you around the PDT rule. Zero commission on Topstep X as well. Again, they're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them, but it's genuinely useful for companies, or for it's genuinely useful for limiting risk in small accounts. I'll put the link up. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. Can't guarantee anything. We might actually buy this dip though right here. Didn't really get a good entry. We'll add to it. There we go. Took half off there. We can get out the rest there. All right, so far so good. We bought this level here. It just went so far in my favor short term. Apple still surging up to almost 209s. Nvidia's ripping up as well as we speak. AMD's bouncing back too. Where is AEO right now? It's up a little bit. Still volatile though. It's too volatile for me. All right, look at that 229 level tap. Look at that rejection right there. Top 3 levels. Apple's still breaking highs. Good. Oh, sorry, I gotta stretch here a little bit. Thank you, Isaac. All right, look at this turn in the NASDAQ, though. Here's the 200 EMA right here. It's a big red candle. Is this news driven? Let me make sure. Yeah, the imbalance data was negative on the MAG 7. Might just be momentum. Yeah, my hands are off. We're kind of flat right now. American Eagle's ripping up. Apple's pushing up still. Nvidia dipped down though, so this is microchip weakness. Kind of liquidating some of, like, actually no, I'm just gonna sit at it. The day trader in me tells me to take profit in UNH. I still think there might be some injected value. HIMS is breaking down though. Microchips are flat so far this morning at the open. So they're flat. They're not really moving any significant amount up or down. They're just kind of going up and down. AMD's exactly flat on the day. Nvidia's flat since the opening bell. Mostly. Actually, Nvidia's slightly green since the open. Disney's breaking down. United Health is ripping up. I'm going to sell another piece of United Health, and then I'm going to not. I'm not selling any more UNH. I'm sitting on the rest. Everything I bought this morning in my stock account is green, though, so that's good. Lucid? Yeah, I haven't been interested in Lucid in a long time. I've been telling people the same thing for freaking years, and anybody that's watched my stream long enough understands that I've been saying the same thing for years regarding specifically up-and-coming EV brands. You know, most up-and-coming EV brands will fail. Okay? NKLA, Lucid, Polestar, you know. Not unless they're really deeply attached to a legacy, or they're not unless they're legacy automotive. Most up-and-coming EV brands will fail. Why? Because nobody wants to experiment on a brand new car company. There's things you can experiment with, not in brand new car companies. You know, Lucids are cool, but you don't have enough customers that want to buy a Lucid to succeed as an automobile brand. Rivian, maybe. Tesla, yes. Everything else outside of legacy, no. It's just too risky. Maybe long term, but even still, the risks are too profound there to really get involved with. Nobody wants to drive the car from National Lampoon's Vacation. And that's essentially what you're getting with some of these EV brands. Mullen, NKLA, Lucid, they're all incredibly risky. You just don't have enough customers that are interested. That, you know, if people say, hey, I want to buy an EV, they don't say, hey, I want to buy a Lucid. The only people that do are people that are directly involved in the stock market, and even then, most of the time, they don't buy the cars. They just invest in the stock. Oh. Rivian, maybe. Rivian's good. I've seen some Rivians driving around, so I think Rivian's got a better chance than the other ones. Rivian, Tesla are the two big ones in that space right now, outside of legacy. And when I say legacy, I mean like Toyota EVs or Ford EVs or whatever it is. So All right, so Nasdaq's starting to break down. We got a bearish trend at this point in time. White House officials say that Apple was supposed to announce a domestic manufacturing pledge of $100 billion. So, Apple's still really elevated. Everything else is kind of falling down, though. Look at the 150 bounce, dude. These levels, man, they work very well sometimes. Again, I've been trading. I'm on like a 5 or 6 day green streak in this account, and part of the reason is I started specifically targeting the levels. Only levels that we haven't tested, like this 150 in a while. I know I did. I saw this one happen. I ended up buying the original bounce at this one. But even if we continue down, the fact that we make a pit stop at the level, you know, gives me ample room to scalp that move. And so if you watch the charts, my confidence builds over time from these. I think it was 100 billion. Yeah, it's 100 billion with a B. HIM's still breaking down, HIMS. Apple just broke highs of the day again. It's at 209.30s. Apple almost up to 210s. Again, we don't really have any economic reports going live right now. What day is Powell supposed to speak at the Jackson Hole Symposium? All right, rebounding back up. Let's watch that 23.2 level in the Nasdaq. All right, look at this big bounce back here, chat. So we are rebounding all the way back up. Michael Saylor says you don't sell your Bitcoin. Tariff risks are underpriced, warns eToro analyst. He said markets are undermining the risk that tariffs could be overturned by courts. If that happens, the president will have to refund tariff revenues and go through a longer process. Yeah, president's supposed to speak at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. All right, so we went all the way up to this level again, now back down. Very sideways action today. And again, even Pawn was talking about how we might get sideways chopped today, so just be careful. Apple's flying up though, which is good. We have jobless claims unemployment tomorrow, Corey. So jobless claims unemployment. United Health breaking down a little bit here as well. Lucid at 224s. Apple still pushing up. Very sideways though. I'm not really trying to buy. I'm very green on the day already. We got into a couple really nice trades. You can see we've only had 2 losing trades out of the last 20. The day we've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades. We've had 1 red trade, 10 green. So. And then we've also traded stocks, and we are green on 3 out of 4 of those stocks. Actually, we're green on all of them. Net green on all of them, at least. Yeah. Where's Tesla at? Tesla flying up. It's at 315s. All right, Nasdaq's moving up too on this. See if Apple gets more strength and just tap 2 10s. I doubt we're gonna get a check. We better not send out more checks, Pawn. I hope not, bro. Like, of course, people want free money, but the consequence is gonna be prices going up. Up. One of the biggest reasons prices spiked in 2020, aside from supply chain problems, was the stimulus ones. That caused a lot of stuff to go up. I don't want that at all. All right, Tesla, Apple running. PayPal is running too. Google's up. Oh, Amazon. Amazon's down a little bit, but still green. All right, Nasdaq just got over that 230 level. Let's watch 250s up here. Look at Tesla. Still trying to climb. Shopify not seeing any slowdown from tariffs according to CNBC. Alright, so look at this pullback. Let's watch 23.2 here. Didn't quite get in at the bottom. We're bouncing close to a level here, but Look at this rip up. Kind of ran into that resistance level. Apple holding markets up. Tesla as well. A lot of other stuff's down. HIMS is down pretty big though. It's at 52. There's a buy opportunity. HIMS has a high PE ratio, but it might not at 52. I'm gonna take a very small position in HIMS right now. It's down so much. Very small though. Exponential bounce, very choppy. Gold spiking up to 34.20s here. Well, Apple's breaking highs and making moves. Tesla is as well. So we bought some HIMS, small position though, but yeah, sorry, it lagged out. I don't know why. OBS is being crap today, dude. I don't know why. My internet's good, but look at the NASDAQ rip. So we bought HIMS, and I could probably just take some profit in it already, dude. We bought the dip. I'm going to sell into the rip. Take half off there on HIMS. NASDAQ just rebounded all the way back up, too. So, yeah, it's back. I don't know what's going on with it. Sorry, chat. Just being weird. Yeah, it's back. Again, tomorrow's the deadline day. All right, so we're testing the highs again. I'm just kind of sitting tight. We took some profit in our HIMS trade already. Nvidia's still breaking highs of the day, so Nvidia's actually pushing up a lot. We're taking it a little slow now. We're green in almost everything, so I don't really want to risk giving too much of it back. Pulling back a little bit now. Apple up there. We don't have any 8:30 news. I'm probably just going to cut this, guys, and just bow out for the day. We just don't really have much going on. All right. Okay, wait. So the U.S. president has reportedly signed an executive order imposing an additional 25% tariff on India in response to continued purchase of Russian oil, according to CGTN Europe. Again, big news for tariffs. This might drag markets down here, chat. See if it does. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. Good luck, guys. Listen, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. Be safe in markets. Who knows what we're gonna get tomorrow. Again, if you want to check out Topstep, beautiful way to help support the channel. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, some currencies. Be safe. Tomorrow we have jobless claims unemployment. We're going to be doing that live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So be ready. That unemployment filing report is a more up-to-date look at unemployment. So just be ready for that, chat. Again, check out Topstep if you want to learn to day trade. No PDT rule. You see me day trading stocks. You see me day trading futures. On futures, I'm using Topstep X. Their new dashboard's really, really nice. They got this updated where you can kind of see their new dashboard and all that stuff. And it's actually pretty solid. Like, you can activate in real time and all that good stuff. Again, so if you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. They're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them. So understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. Of course, you can check it pinned to the top of the page as well as in the chat. And yeah, we'll see you guys over there. Again, good luck, guys. Remember, can't guarantee anything. And yeah, I'll see you guys over there. Good luck.